We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Stephen Jack Peace-Heller.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, and this is the Land Academy Show. For 10 years and counting, Land Academy has been the place to go for the education, tools, and support you need to start or grow your land investment business. We are the most seasoned and experienced land investor group on the internet.
Today's topic, how a 5,000 unit mailer can turn into a $100,000 land deal. We've got a new format for you. I'm pretty excited about it. I've spent some time on it. Segment one, it's 3 segments actually. Segment one, what other Land Academy members are experiencing. Segment 2, our topic today, like I just said, that 5,000 unit mailer will turn it into a $100,000 deal and the steps that we take. And then segment 3, Jill and I are going to answer member and listener questions. Let's get right into segment 1, unless you have some funny stuff to share.
Oh, I always do.
We have a couple of deals closing. We were just talking about it. We have a couple of deals closing right now, and we just got off the call, the Thursday call every week that we have with our Land Academy membership group, and all of us seem to, for some reason, have properties under contract on the sell side that we've had listed for quite some time.
It's like stale inventory is moving. I don't know what happened. I mean, I do know what happened. I do know what's changing. You know, you're the best at sharing that, but it's wonderful to see things. I'm like, is this ever going to move? And then all of a sudden, there it goes.
We thrive on change.
At the price I wanted.
We thrive on change in the real estate business, and I think hopefully every business is like that. When there's ups and downs, you can make money on the way up and on the way down, and it sounds like we're coming out of this like stagnant phase, so it's good news.
I think just people are getting more comfortable. You know, there's a lot of change. There's always a lot of change, but we're all kind of settled in. I think with money now. We've had a full year of this administration, so things are. You know, we know where we are, and we can now do some deals.
Here in segment 1, let's hear about what the land community at Land Academy, what they're experiencing, Joe.
Okay, I have several wins. I love this part that I'm going to share with some of our members. Aisha said, I realized I've been stuck in analysis paralysis, so I finally sent my first mailer. Yay! I'm so glad. Carla said, I wrapped up 2025 with 10 deals, just over $100,000 in total profit. That's beyond what I expected when the year started. Can you imagine? Like, that is life-changing.
So I just think then now she's on the trajectory, like a lot of Land Academy members, on that trajectory now. I don't know if that was her first or second year, but $100,000 in profit.
Yep.
It probably sounds like a lot to most people, but here at Land Academy, it's really not. So we've been through this. How many years have we been doing this? 10 years
Over
at
10
Land
years.
Academy?
Going on 11 now.
We see her on the Thursday call all the time, and she'll do 5 times that here in 2026, I'm sure.
Henry said, this quarter I flipped 2 small rural lots on Facebook Marketplace, making about $15,000 profit on each. The gains were modest compared to others, but I'm on the slow and steady path and proud of this progress. I am too.
Fantastic.
Isn't that great?
This makes my day.
I love this.
These wins.
Kevin, I had my fastest flip ever on a small lot. I listed on a Monday and I had it under contract by Wednesday for a $7,000 profit. Isn't that great? $7,000 in 3 days.
It's fantastic.
Well, yeah.
If that doesn't get you, like, not you the listener, but just you as a person, doesn't get you all jazzed, I don't know what does.
Exactly. Jade said, I got my biggest deal to date under contract. If all goes plans, it's going to be a $75,000 profit. I remember when I started Land Academy, I had just got a raise to make 75 just before we got together, like before Land Academy, I should say, before I got into this business full time with you, I had just got a raise to make $75,000 a year. And I was pretty proud of that. So this is amazing. And Jade's got it on one deal. I love that.
Fantastic.
It's kind of weird when you start throwing these numbers around. At first it sounds like this is a lot of money, and then you get into it and you start doing these deals and you're like, now you're so comfortable talking about these big numbers. It's crazy. And Laura said in December, I officially closed my 50th
God.
5-0 land deal.
So what do you make of all this? This is just,
I wonder what Laura's average is. Yeah,
I feel pride.
I do too.
You know,
Gives
after
me
10
goosebumps.
years of doing this, me too. After 10 years of doing this, that's good.
Yeah.
What are your wins? I know we have a couple deals on the south side closing.
Well,
Properties we've owned for a long time.
yeah, I have a couple wins I have right now is the team is rolling. I love that. They're busy. You know what it is too? My team does the best. Like I say my team loosely, it's like our staff.
It's your team.
Okay. Our staff is my team. You like that? Who's your team?
You are.
Oh, there we go. Thanks. Thanks. So anyway, they hate it when there's lulls in our business. Hate it. They love it when there's a lot happening. So some of these things that had sat a little too long, and too long to me and too long to you I promise two different things. Hasn't been that long, but in my world it's a long time. I'm like, finally those are moving. So that's really good. Those are some wins.
Isn't it funny that it's not about money anymore? Because we've all for a decade, we've more than that, accepted the fact that this is our business. We're making a bunch of money, our life, and now it's more like are the people that work for us happy?
Yeah.
Are our members happy? You know, is the whole thing just kind of moving forward?
Right.
It's a good place to be.
It's kind of a nice little retirement
Yep.
plan. You know, it's not bad.
Here in segment 2, we're going to talk about how a 5,000 unit mailer can turn into a $100,000 land deal. Jill and I have done it many times. In any real estate transaction, it's broken down into 3 segments. First, you're going to create a pipeline of deal opportunities for yourself and choose the best 1 or 2. Second, you're going to buy the property. This is Jill's expertise now. And third,
Like most women can shop. I can buy things.
I think it's a very different talent.
It is very different, that's true. I'm good at this.
Buy the property and then sell the property. So first, we're going
And
to
I'm good at that too.
we're going to set the deal financial parameters. So if you're going to buy a property that makes $100,000, you're going to look for other properties that can command that type of price in that situation. If you were to buy a property that just needs to make $50,000, it's a different place. Might be the difference between Oklahoma and Alaska. I don't know, but we'll look in Zillow here through this practice called trolling that I created a few years ago, a lot of years ago, that fits these parameters that we're about to set in the rule of quarters. And then ultimately we'll test our findings and then complete a mailer and get the mail out, at which point in our real life, Jill takes over. So let's take a look at the rule of quarters. It all starts with the retail value of the property. So we are going to go find properties out on Zillow here in a second that are regularly trading for between $200,000 and $150,000. Why? Because we want to buy them between $50,000 and $100,000. So there's this all kinds of profit margin in here, and that's the opportunity to buy for 150, sell for buy for 50, sell for 150 to make 100 grand or some number like that. That's close. This rule of quarters sets my trolling range. So let's go to number 2. Now that we've set our parameters for $100,000, we're going to go to the Zillow and start trolling for those types of properties, and this is what I do. I set my Zillow parameters to 12 months of days on Zillow for sold. Type, land, of course. And here's my financial properties, 150 to 200,000, as we have set here.
You know what's great? You know what's, can I pause for just
Yeah,
a second?
sure.
Look at all the red dots on the screen right now and how many there are. People, and this is just land that we're looking at too?
Yeah.
Okay, you already filtered. Like, people don't believe that there's deals like this out
know.
there.
People don't believe this.
They don't. I'm like, look at right here. So there, this is how many things, just this one screenshot, you know, that we're looking at, this many land properties for sale in the price range that we want to put a property for sale in. So think about how much properties in this thing. To go find a couple, and buy them for 50, it's like, duh. But people don't get it.
I agree.
It's so people go, oh, there can't be that many. You want to bet?
Well, I think we've all been.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things if you want to become successful in real estate. Maybe you already are and you know this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you need to undo in your head. So if properties are just traded, we all default to houses for some reason. For most people, when you say real estate, they think houses.
Right.
And that's just not the case. There's all types of real estate. We know that. So house valuations are very different than land valuations, and people sell real estate for all types of reasons. Mm-hmm. So let's just take a look around. Let's do some trolling around. I set the parameters, like I said, to 150 to 200,000. And so I always go to Los Angeles because there's such a lack. We all know how much property is here. There's a ridiculous concentration of real estate. But this is not the place at all to send mail. You're going to waste your time and money sending mail to Los Angeles if you want to buy properties or look where they're trading for 150 to 200,000. So let's start moving around and see where it's more logical. A little bit more logical up here. As I move east into the Las Vegas area, Las Vegas might even be a little bit too underpriced for this.
This whole exercise, all Jack is doing is trying to find areas where this will work to meet his acquisition criteria. That's it. By backing into it, looking at the sale number. We want to put property out there that's going to sell and that's moving, in these areas.
Exactly. Colorado Springs looks like it would support sending a mail there. If I sent mail right here, nothing's going to happen. I'm going to waste all kinds of time and money. That's why we go through this exercise. But here, if I get in a little bit closer, this is a great area. There's a ton of examples of properties that are for sale. In fact, there's in our screenshot, 222 properties for sale and 166 sold. Not really what I want to see. What I want to see is more properties sold than active. But nonetheless, it's a good example. The one in Ohio is better where we just started out. Here we go.
I like how you're showing how much you toggle back and forth to see sold versus active.
622 solds, 474 for sale. Pretty good. So it looks like Cincinnati's really supporting this. I also can see that the bottom priced property, like I set the parameters to, is 150,000, then it goes up to 200. So that confirms I did that correctly. And so now the whole point is to send out a mailer for priced at a lot less, send out an offer campaign, to be very specific, priced at around $50,000 so you can buy property between $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 and sell it for more than that, a lot more than that, hopefully. Hopefully $150,000. That's the goal. So, all right, let's say I believe that this area of Cincinnati is worth sending, and I do actually. I think it's worth really exploring. The next step is to test these places that I think, because I think this might be a good area, but I don't know. I need the data to support it. Run it through the red, green, yellow test and what I call the equity planner. By the way, you can use dealcomplete.com to automate all of this stuff. The point of this video and this audio track, this podcast, is to show you what's possible. And for years and years, I've been doing this since the 90s. Can you imagine the tools that were, or lack of tools that were available in the 90s? It was so different.
Right.
Well, times have again changed. So we're fortunate enough to have somebody on our staff who's a really good developer, and he put Deal Complete together to automate all of this. So just check it out. You should go check it out.
There's a free version.
Yeah. Go. What the red, green, yellow test is so in Cincinnati, what I would do is pull the zip codes, manually pull all the zip codes here. There's probably 10 or 15 or 20. Line them all up. Pull the data from various sources around the internet and pit these zip codes. In this case, it's Arizona. Just for example, these 4 zip codes against each other. One of them is going to have a lower days on market for the most recent month. The lower days on market tells me that when you list a property, it gets sold faster. That's what I want. New list to pending, lower is better, so that all the new listings against properties that are pending. I want way more pending listings than new listings. I want to play in that zip code. where there's more properties going under contract than is being listed. And then ultimately, parcels on market to all, meaning this. How many properties are in that zip code, in the universe of that zip code? What percentage are actually for sale? In this case, 1% of the entire zip code is for sale. 1.3%. I would have to actually mark this red. That's a lot. Mm-hmm. This is probably yellow. So again, Deal Complete will do all this for you. You don't have to make these judgment calls like I have in the past. But I hope this makes sense. Now I'm confirming that in the 3 or 4, 8 zip codes that are around Cincinnati that I think are a good idea, this one zip code, for sake of argument, really supports what I'm trying to do. So now I know where to send mail to make $100,000, and I know what to expect because of the red, green, yellow test as a percentage of can it happen?
I'm just going to address for the analytical individuals in the room watching. It's deliberate that we're using an old spreadsheet with old stuff. I know this isn't the zip code and this is not the county and the state we just talked about in that example. This is just showing you what it looks like and what goes on behind the scenes.
We don't guess here. I think if you're new to real estate, or even if you've been in real estate for a long time and it hasn't hit you that all these decisions are data driven. That's the whole point to this.
Yeah.
So you send out mail using offers to owners. You send out an offer campaign, price your mailers out. You can do that. Take a look at offers to owners, but really look at Deal Complete.
Deal Complete does that for you too. I mean, I don't want to steal your thunder, but
no.
This has really saved not only, a lot of you that are not even Land Academy members, I know are using Deal Complete. I'm loving it, and I'm really, really glad. You don't have to be a Land Academy member, by the way, to use it. I don't care what space you're in, what group you're in. You learn from one of whoever. It doesn't matter. This can help you as far as downloading data, scrubbing data, getting it priced, getting it in the mail. It's a CRM, all kinds of things too. It really is a good tool for any investor. Any real estate investor. Doesn't even have to be land.
Makes this a lot easier.
It really, really does. You don't have to look at a spreadsheet and go say this hurts my head.
I don't want this to sound like a sales pitch because it's not. Because Deal Complete's actually really cheap for what you get. But the main thing to focus on here is the process. Mm-hmm. If this process is something like, oh my, the light bulb's going off in your head, this could be for you.
Yeah. Like, oh, okay. I know how to find them. You taught me I set my goals. My parameters are my goals. Now I go look for those things that hit my numbers, hit my goals. You showed me how to test it, make sure I'm doing the right thing, and I'll pick the best zip codes out of those, whatever market I zone in on, and then I get the offers out. And I know how to price them because you just told me about the rule of quarters.
All right, so you sent all this mail out, and a lot of people called you back. Go ahead. My
turn. That's where I come in. So Jack's whole career since we got together. Oh, your career before me too. It's just make the phone ring. That's the whole thing. I always tell him I don't care if it's on the buy side or the sell side. Just make my phone ring. That's what happens. So what's going to happen? These offers are going to go out by the tens of thousands if you're doing it right. Don't mess around. And you know what? You want to send out 10,000 a month. It sounds like a lot. Save it up until you can do it because that's where you're going to win. And by the way, if you're doing numbers like we're doing and you're making $100,000 per deal, you're not going to care about the mail after 3 deals. So we can cross that concern off the list. So the offers go out and here come the calls and the signed purchase agreement. So then what do? Take it all in, fill it all in your spreadsheet, check it against all the Land Academy 8As, making sure you're doing all your due diligence, and you pick the best ones. Part of the reason too we want so much mail to go out is I want you to have 20 that you're reviewing this week, not 2.
Well, before you get too far into that, let's look at the phone response. Okay. These are general statistics that are universal for what we do. In general, your response will vary significantly based on your experience. If you send out 5,000, you're going to get a 1% response. If you send out 50,000, you're going to get a 1% response. And about 3% of that 1% will be potential deals. Geez, what happened? Why did it go from 50 to 2? Sometimes properties, you don't like them. You run them through due diligence. Sometimes people end up not being alive, or the structure of the deal is just not. So one person's alive, person's dead, and it's not deeded correctly, and all of that. So things happen with these deals all the time. Or maybe the numbers just don't work. You maybe priced it incorrectly,
Or you don't want
they
it.
just want more money than you want to spend.
Right.
So these are universal percentages, and then the tire kick is our bad property, like I said, is 48%, or 48 out of these 50.
Right.
So again, this is the point here is this: if you send a lot more, you're going to get potentially buy 15 transactions, not just one or two.
Exactly.
Sorry, Joe, go ahead.
So thank you very much. All right, so you choose the best ones, like you just said, that with the response that we're getting back, and then you buy it. That's one of the things too. We don't mess around with anything other than owning the property. I put down the money. I believe in it that much. My name's on the deed. So next and to do that, we, especially in this price range that we're talking about, we're talking about high level, making big dollar amounts. These command title insurance, and you're going to use an escrow, a traditional escrow. And you know what? Let them do the work for you, by the way. It's so much easier. You call, you open escrow, you pass all the information off, you manage it through escrow, by the way. It's not just call me when it's done. You're going to keep an eye on it and manage it through escrow, but they're doing all the heavy lifting for you. Because guess what? I'm working on the next one, in the next area maybe. Then, now we own it. I'm moving on to selling it. Again, some properties I could sell it myself, and I often do. Maybe I do a neighbor letter and I sell it myself before I list it with an agent. That's a great tip, and I do that all the time. But most of the time, I've got established agents, or maybe I found a new area and a new agent. I get to know them and I hand them a deal and see how they do. And I let them do the work. They're taking the pictures, they're answering the phone calls. We agreed on the price, we agreed on the timeline, and they're doing the work. Why? Because I'm working in bringing in more. I'm constantly working on the next ones, and they're doing that work.
That's what this is. It's a big circle.
Yep. And we go through escrow again on the sell side, and it's wonderful.
There's a lot of outsourcing here to the escrow agent and to the real estate agent.
And don't forget, remember my numbers, buy for 50 to sell for 150 or so, even if I sell it for 120, I baked in my cost for agents on the sell side, right? When I have an agent selling it for me, I baked in their commission, and I also baked in my escrow fees. So I'm not sweating it.
Here in segment 3, Jill and I answer a few questions from you in our Land Academy community.
Cool. All right, so Emil asks, what is a good response rate for a 5,000 unit mailer? At what point do you consider a campaign a success or a failure? We kind of just answered that in the first part. You know what's so interesting about this? The percentages that we're using, I feel you are very cautious. And so, because my numbers are different than a lot of people's numbers, let's just say. I've been doing this for many years. And if you're brand new, my numbers are going to be different than your numbers. So we have to remember that. The other thing is too, I think we're talking about the initial volume that comes in. When your 5,000 unit goes out, your phone's going to start ringing. You're going to start getting emails. Things are going to start coming in right away. But don't discount what happens in 90 days. Don't discount what happens in 6 months. And don't discount, from our experience, what happens in 6 years. And sometimes 16 years, I'm not kidding. Our offers, it sings to people. They're professional, it's respectful. I've had so many people, they weren't ready at the time, but boy, they saved our offer letter, put it in a file, and they called us years later, decade later.
I have a simpler answer.
Well, I'm not done yet. So that's where I'm always like, I don't like this question. I'm like, what do you call success? Because you're gonna go back and redo your numbers because of that. You were just starting out and you only sent out 3 units and you ended at 30,000, or whatever it was, 3,000 or 5,000 unit mailer because you were brand new and you ended up buying 12 properties by the time it was all done. I mean, that's really amazing numbers. So go ahead.
Return on investment is staggering, no matter how you look at it. A successful mailer is when you buy one property.
That's fair.
So if you send out 30,000 offers and it costs you $15,000 or $18,000 or some crazy number like that, but you buy a property and make $100,000, like we just talked about, is that successful or not?
Yes, I'm saying yes.
It's crazy successful.
Exactly.
The return on investment is staggering. So everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to know the answer to this. And I'll tell you what, it's very different if you send mail out and you just saw the red, green, yellow test. If you pick the wrong zip codes in the right area, you're going to have a problem trying to achieve what you want to achieve. So you just have to listen to the data. The data will tell you what to do. That's the real answer to that.
That's beautiful.
Yep. Question number 2 from our Land Academy group.
Anthony wrote, Jack, is Levy County, Florida a good place to send offers? Thank you very much.
Let's look.
All right.
This is Levy County, Florida. I've got this set to land, and I only want to look at completed sales for the last 12 months. Everything else is untouched. 603 active properties in the entire county. 651 sold in the last 12 months. Those are pretty good numbers. That supports the county so far. Let's look at...
Are these all types or just land?
Just land.
This is just land? Okay, good.
And let's look at the variances in prices. So on the cheap side, we've got infill lots here. Looks like on the west side of the county, which is strange because it's closer to the ocean, for $3,000 and $4,000 and $5,000 that are sold. Same thing. Let's see what's active. Same numbers are a little bit higher. Active properties are 9 and 10 for it looks like the same type of property. But on the flip side, I noticed when you look at the higher range, these are in the millions.
That's amazing.
These properties are 7, 8 millions. Granted, they're large, but that's a huge variance. So this is why it's important to realize that there's more than one zip code in a county. And so, obviously the east part of the county here commands a higher price, and the west part of the county,
Go ahead. Sorry.
and the western part of the county commands a lesser price. So when you price your mailer, you need to price it based on the fact that there's cheaper. You don't want to send $80,000 offers to properties that are buy and sell for 10 grand, and vice versa. You don't want to send a $5,000 offer to. In fact, you might just take this. I can tell you right now, this portion of the county won't support a red, green, yellow test. Real expensive property like this takes a long time to sell. So yes, this is a great place. So yes, this has all the markings for me of a great place to send mail. We've never sent mail here. You just have to because the county's so diverse, you have to isolate where the expensive properties are, where the inexpensive ones are, and proceed that way. Question number 3, Jill.
All right. Jessica wrote, how do you handle the hate mail or angry phone calls that inevitably come when you send out 5,000 blind offers at once? Do you know what I do first? You're going to love this. This might not be the response that you're expecting, but when the mail goes out and, week or two, whatever it is, goes by, and the calls start coming back, and the first one I pick up, and they are livid. Do you know what that tells me? Yay, we did it right. That's my first thing. I don't want everybody to call me and love me, right? I don't want to go like, I can't sign fast enough. What are we going to do? Like, can you imagine because if all the calls come back and everybody loves you, that means like this is an example that we were just showing in Levy County. Like, what if I price the whole county together and we have the $1 million properties over here and we have the, $10,000 properties over here and we price them the same? That would be a disaster. I would have the $1 million people pissed at me, and I'd have the other people calling me that love me. So you have to dig in and price it accordingly. But so my point is, I much prefer when they call back and they're like, what were you drinking when you sent me this offer? My response is, you know what? Tell me, what did I miss? I just start a conversation. That's what I do. You're going to get mad people. You're going to get angry people. You're going to get all kinds of things. It's like the same thing as, how many times are we bombarded with the same flyers on our door or postcards in the mail? I'm like, for the last time, I don't need a new roof. I just got a new roof 2 years ago. Did you guys not look? You keep sending me the same note.
Bad data.
I could call him and I could get mad at him, but I don't.
Yeah.
I throw it away. That's the main thing I want you to take away from. The people who really aren't interested, like me, I'm not going to, sell my house. I don't want to sell my house. I'm just, do I get offers? Sure. Do you? Sure. We throw them all away. So think like that. I always believe that people who pick up the phone and call you are calling for a reason. They may not like that price. That's your job now to uncover why. And guess what?
Good advice.
They may have a valid why. They may say this, when they call in, they're like, what were you thinking? Well, I don't know. What am I missing? Let them start talking. Well, Amazon just moved in, and now we're getting a new grocery store and 3 new schools. I did not know that because how would I know that? The data won't uncover that future stuff that maybe they know because they're really into their community, as they should be. And guess what? Maybe the property is worth a little bit more. So like I said, I expect it. I am excited when it happens. I set out to make them my friend, by the way. I always tell them, let them know I'm not trying to offend you. That's not what I'm doing. What did I miss? How can we get on the same page? Do you really want to sell? And what number makes sense to you? That's what you do and how you turn around. And that's how you create a deal that wasn't there before.
I'm going to read between the lines here in her question, and then we can move on. She says, how do you handle the hate mail or the angry phone calls inevitably when you send out a 5,000 unit blind offers all at once? So you only get a 1% response. So you're not dealing with 5,000 people. You're dealing with about 50. 50 people are going to call you. And so that's a very manageable number over, let's say, the course of 2 weeks.
Yeah, maybe more.
Run its course.
There
maybe
might be
3
more
weeks.
people.
And so that small of a mailer, she's thinking this is a large mailer. It's not. It's very small. Will allow you to spend the time that is needed to pick the people out that you can deal with and who really want to sell the property.
Jessica, just take it one at a time.
Yeah.
Speaking from, this is my job. This is my number one job. Seriously, get on the phone and calm them down. And I'm good at that. And you will get good at that. Be ready for it. Let it roll right off. Who flipping cares? If they don't want to sell, they give you a make me new number. You wish them well. That's good. Okay, so now I want to just let you know as we wrap up today. Oh my gosh. Don't forget, dealcomplete.com is there and available for you. It's brand new. We just released it in the last few months, and there's a free training that shows you exactly
huge response,
how to use it and what's inside. So I would say, if you want to jump in and go play around with it and get the free version, do it. But definitely watch the training video because it's really great. It shows you how to automate your entire land business from, like we said, pricing to mailing to managing your database to opening escrow. There's even a place in there to get deal funding, by the way. All kinds of amazing tools in there. So go to dealcomplete.com/training and watch that. It's amazing.
Hey, if you like the episode, please drop a comment. If you share a win or a question, we might feature it actually on next week's episode or thereafter. Join us next week where we discuss why we stopped rehabbing houses and the real reasons are boring. Is this boring to you? Boring land investments are making us millions.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
We are Jack and Jill.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
We are Jack and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.